Everyone, today we are going to draw a self-portrait, and it's a winter self-portrait. So you are going to imagine that you are outside catching snow on your tongue. So we're going to be sticking our tongues out and catching snow, and you want to personalize your picture to make it all about you. So what are we doing today? You will be drawing a self-portrait. That means you are drawing a picture of yourself. Portrait is of any person, but self-portraits means yourself. So it needs to look like you. It does not have to look like a photo. We are doing a fun guided drawing. Add details to your picture that show it's you. So what are we learning when we do this project? We are learning how to express ourselves in our artwork. We are showing happiness in the picture. We want to show those feelings. And the catching snowflakes on our tongue is fun. It'd be fun to just stick your tongue out and have snowflakes land on it and use your imagination to imagine what snow would feel like. And we want to express feelings that it would be we'd be having a really good time. So the standards for this project are I can describe some elements in my work, and I can combine several elements of art to express ideas, feelings, and stories in my artwork. And this means that you can show where you use line, color, shape, form, texture, value, and space in your artwork. Those are the elements of art. And then the second is I can make a statement about my artwork, write a sentence or make a video and talk about what you used in your artwork. Did you use color and form and line and make special shapes or show something else in your artwork that explains a little bit about you and your interests? So you want to describe a little bit more about your picture than what we can just see. You can always just record yourself saying your answer, or you could write it and take a picture or type it up in chat. That would be terrific. For what do I need to do for this project? You want to follow along with the video to draw a snowman. Add colors, lines, and patterns that you like that will show us something about you, maybe some symbols, other things that you think are interesting. And make your drawing with anything you have, such as crayons, colored pencils, markers, or paint. These are known as media, and if you need to use combinations like markers and crayons together, this is called mixed media. I have a lot of students that tell me they can't do my projects because they didn't do it exactly the way I made it on the page. We have to use whatever we have and just enjoy ourselves and not worry about, oh, I made mine out of marker when Miss Powers used crayon. You can use whatever you have available. Send me a photo or a video of your art and your answers about your art in Microsoft Teams. And I made the video without remembering to add the information here. So the video is just going to pick up like you just started on the project. So here we go, and we'll start our drawing. Hi everyone, we're going to make a drawing of ourselves where we're sticking our tongues out to get some snow. And these are going to be very personal to you. You might want to add some hair and your favorite colors and patterns on your hat. And then we can draw some snowflakes in the background as well. So we just need to follow along with the drawing. It doesn't take long, but you want to make sure that you can pause the video and stop and replay steps if you need to. So when we start this out, let's look at our picture here. We want to draw sort of a pom-pom shape for the top of the hat, and it's going to be really close to the edge of the paper. So we want to get in there and do this very, very close. I'm going to go ahead and make a curve that goes right up to the top of my paper. And I'm going around just making curvy lines that would sort of show the fluff. Now I'm using markers because it's just what I have today. You can use anything that you have. Just remember that if you're going to use watercolors or markers and get the markers wet, that this is permanent marker, not a regular marker that comes with a marker set, because the black marker, if you get a regular black marker wet, it's going to spread just like the colors. So this is a review if you haven't seen it before. When you paint over colored pencil and it's black, it's fine. But regular marker spreads all over the place. This is just water here in the middle, so you can really see how it got messy. And even with the see how it sort of pulled up on the G in regular marker. Permanent marker, crayon, and most regular ink pens should not spread, but regular normal marker will. So make sure you've got a permanent marker if you're doing yours in marker. All right, so what I want to do now, I'm going to create the hat band over the eyes right here. Now that needs to be a straight line, pretty close to being all the way across the paper. It's a big long line. And then I want another one right above it. And I'll attach the ends. And then I'm going to go ahead and curve it up to the pom-pom for the top of the head. And curve that one up, curve that one down. Right now I'm going to make a circular shape for the face. This is a big circle. So you might not want to do this in marker. You might want to practice first. I'm just going to take a little bit of that circle at a time. All right, so I have, it sort of looks like an egg with a rubber band wrapped around it, doesn't it? And then we'll go ahead and make a very similar shape for our scarf. If you just go across with a regular rectangle like this one, it's not really going to look like a scarf. It'll sort of just look like any old regular rectangle, and you might say, what the heck is that rectangle for? So what I want to do is I kind of want to copy this same curve down here, making the same kind of curve. And then instead of going straight up, I'm going to attach it at a little bit of an angle on here and try to do the same angle here. That way it looks more like you're wearing maybe a warm winter coat, and then we'll do your shoulders. So when you are deciding what colors you want to use and things like that, you could make a match. You could make your scarf and your hat the same colors or patterns, or you can just go ahead and do something totally different. I'm going to add some ears on either side. I'm going to go to the hat band part here. Just make a circular shape. Half circle. And I'm going to do the same thing here. When we draw heads, it's one of the hardest things that we actually have to learn. So this is a fun way to start. Your eyes are actually closer to the center of your skull. We like to draw them with the eyes up here, but that wouldn't leave any room for your brain. So actually the top of your head is not a circle. It's actually a wider oval to make room for your brain. But this sort of gives us a chance to look at it in a cartoon way, to put our ears and our eyes under the hat band, which would be kind of halfway across your head. So I'm going to make 2 half circles here. 1 and 2. All right, and then I want to make the same kind of circle again, circular shape here, for a nice big smile. Now, we don't get snow in South Carolina very often, but it is kind of fun with the idea that you would be sticking your tongue out to catch a flake. So I'm going to go ahead and draw another sort of oval shape for a tongue. And you could draw an individual snowflake on here if you like. I just sort of thought it would be funny to have a cluster of them. So I just sort of said, okay, I'm going to get a glob of snow. So you can draw a snowflake on here if you want to. We're going to add some to the background. So if you want to draw it on the tongue, I just like to do simple ones where it's an X and then a plus sign in between. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I can do it the other way, plus first. 1, 2, and then X, 3, 4. I can turn it if I want to. So maybe you want to have that on your tongue instead. And we can do falling snow. Now to finish this off, I can add some sides of the mouth, or you can just leave it plain. And then you can decide what you want to do with your eyeballs. Maybe you want big eyeballs. And you could color them in and give yourself pupils if you want. I think I'm just going to fill this in black with a highlight. But my eyes are actually green, so I could have colored them in with a green marker instead. So I just leave a little tiny part white. Actually, that's a lot. I think I'm going to make it a little smaller, just to make it a little bit more like it's actually trying to reflect light. But sometimes those can be way too big. If you have too much of a reflection showing, maybe your eyes don't look like eyes anymore. Maybe that's not really what you're going for. All right, so from here, you want to color it in any way you want. I'm going to put in some lines on the top for stripes on my hat. But you could do polka dots, zigzag lines, any kind of pattern that you like. Okay. So I'll go across on there. And then I'm going to do the same thing for my scarf. They're not perfectly straight because they wouldn't be showing up straight anyway if we were wearing a scarf. The only way that they would look perfectly straight is if the scarf weren't on a person. So these could be polka dots, stripes, zigzags, anything that you want to have in there. And then finally, you can finish it off with things about you. Now, I wear glasses, so I could add glasses. Now you say, how do you add glasses in that? You already drew the eyeballs. Well, your eyeglasses go over your eyeballs. So I'm just going to draw a circle. And then I want to bring it down here where it meets in the middle, because I didn't draw a nose on this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and pretend I don't have a nose. Bring it back down and go around for the other side of my glasses. And I'll just draw a line to my ear so it looks like I have my glasses on. All right, so you might not want to have regular glasses. Maybe you want to have sunglasses and you have some colored pencils where you can color it in lightly. If you want to draw a nose, you're more than welcome to. A nose can be something really simple. It could just be a circle, but since we're people, I'm going to go ahead and just do a upside down circle shape for the nose. Usually with animals, they tend to point down, but if you have another style of drawing a nose, you go ahead and do whatever you like. And then finally, for everybody on here, you want to add some hair, because your hair is going to stick out of any hat that you put on it. And in my case, I have kind of wavy, crazy hair. So I'm just going to draw some wavy, crazy lines out there, out from my hat. Right? Oh, and I've got snow in my hair. Now, if you have really short hair, you could just draw it like maybe it's coming out and you don't see it behind your ears, and maybe it just tucks in underneath. So you could do that. You can even add, like maybe you want to add earrings. I wear earrings. Okay, and you can also make this something that you want it to look like. Do you want to have green hair? Do you want to have hair sticking out? Maybe your hair is really crazy and comes out and does something silly on the sides, like a plant growing out. So you can make this look like you, or you can just do something silly. So let's add something of it that would give a little bit more personality than the original drawing. And then you need to finish it off. So you want to color yours in and maybe do the color of your hair, or at least color the strands. And you can color your scarf. If you want to finish the scarf off, don't worry about doing a knot. You could just add it down here and stripes going down. All right. And I'll show you some examples. I'll color these in and I'll come on back and show you what I created. But I can't wait to see your ideas. You know, maybe you out in the sun. You could always do a nice simple sun and clouds in the sky that look like the pom-pom on your hat. What are you going to do in your background? So there's some nice clouds in the sky. Right? So you want to finish all parts of your drawing. Don't leave anything not colored in. I'm going to be doing mine in watercolors just because it's fast. So I'm going to come up with some design ideas and finish this off and show you the final part. So here are some design choices that I made, and ran into a couple of problems using the watercolors and markers. I ended up using orange marker to fill in here to get around my dots, and I used purple marker here because I already had some wet green going on. I have brown hair, and that really did not show up very well. So when we combine watercolor and markers, and then I'm going to come in here with some crayons and colored pencils, we just call that mixed media. So when kids say to me, oh, I can't do your art project, I don't have markers, or I don't have watercolors, or I don't have that color of crayon, you can use whatever you have. The whole important part about doing art at home is to figure out how to make it with what you have available. So I added a couple things. I added a tassel onto this scarf here. It was just a little chunky rectangle that I drew with some lines coming down out of it. And and I added a few more snowflakes. Actually, snow comes from the clouds just like rain does because it starts out as water and freezes. So there actually should be more clouds in the sky. But we want to use this to tell something about ourselves, even if it's something as simple as our favorite color. Now, since my hair didn't show up that great on the watercolor paint, I'm just going to go over this with some brown crayon and fill these in. I could use marker, whatever I want that's different from what I already used, and add some more depth to it. And the same thing if I wanted to add some more hairs in here and make this thicker, I can come back with some more marker and add some stuff, but maybe I wanted to have some purple hair. So add some purple marker or colored pencil or whatever I have, just for fun. Maybe I would like to try some purple hair dye sometime. All right, the hardest part that we're always running into are those in-between colors. And this is like an extremely popular crayon, this and the darker versions, because our skin is always somewhere in between here and here. It can be a little bit darker or a little bit lighter, but generally with crayons, they're going to be around this color range. That's all we've got. So since our skin isn't really going to be all super light peach or all medium brown crayon colors, you're also probably not going to find something that you like in a marker box. I mean, unless your skin color is exactly orange, you're not going to have that in there. That brown, as you saw in here, it came out a little reddish. It doesn't really work. So what we want to do is blend things. And you might not even have a peach crayon. If you have pink, that works pretty well, but a lot of people don't have that either. So to make pink, like for our tongue here, you can just take a colored pencil or a crayon and color very, very gently around the snow on the tongue. So just do that very, very simply. Don't push really hard so that some of the white will show through, because pink is just a tint. It means that we've added white to a red pigment. So it gives us a nice sort of pink color there. And same thing if you're doing this with a colored pencil or anything else that you might have around. That would give you a red. Just make sure that it's light. You really can't do that with markers. So crayons and pencils are my favorite materials to work with because they blend so well. So just a nice gentle, light amount of pressure, not pushing really hard, and just letting my layers of color build up to get to pink. Looks a lot better. We love to just really, get in there and color really deeply. But I think it's more important that we respect our supplies, that we don't push them too hard, that we treat them gently, and build up those layers. So the same sort of thing happens when you're doing skin color. So I have very, very light skin. I'm just going to do sort of a pinkish color and go around my earring there. And I want to make sure that I get it under my glasses because my glasses don't change where the color of my skin shows through. And I'm going to even do it lighter than my tongue because my tongue is a darker pink than my skin. So I'm very, very gently doing that. And we all have, as you can see from our skin, we all have a little level of different colors in there. So mine would be a pink and a super light brown. We all have different levels of brown in the skin. So I could come in and just really, really super gently add a little hint of brown to mine. Now this brown's okay, but if I wanted to make it darker and go even deeper than this brown, then I would need to add a little black, blend black in there. Now when we add black, that is called a shade. Anytime we need to make things darker than we're normally seeing. So tint is the tongue where you would add white or let white show through. And shade would be to darken things. I know you can see a little bit of lines on there when you color it, but you can probably tell it's kind of hard to see on the drawing once you step away. So once you might say, oh, I don't like all those colored lines in there, but you're only going to see them if you get super, super close up. So you can always try also doing it in a different direction. Now, if I wanted to go a little darker, this is letting a lot of white show through, but I could build up some more color and make it look a little bit more. You can see that's my skin's much darker than that pink. So I could keep on adding up color. And if I'm going to go ahead and do a darker tone of skin, I can go ahead and add my brown and build the brown up. And I'm just being very, very gentle. I could do this with crayon or colored pencil, but this is one area where I would not want to mix that media. If I'm going to do my skin in brown and black, they both need to be crayons. If I'm going to do my skin in colored pencil, they both need to be colored pencil. So I would get brown and black in 2 crayons or 2 colored pencils. I can't mix and match like I can the other areas. So this is a nice light brown, and I can keep on building that up. And then from there, I use a deeper color, and I'm getting more and more brown in here. Then I can decide if I want to also blend in some black. Don't forget also, you might still need to add some red and give a little bit of a pink color to the skin, even though it's going to be brown color. So they're all a mixture. And if you want to add the black, you just want to do it as gently as the brown or the red that we'd already used. So when you do that very, very gently, it's not like the lines that we make the drawing with. Those are called deliberate marks. That means that I want that to show up as a line. When I'm blending colors together, especially if I'm doing a tint or a shade, I want to take some time, slow down, and add my layers of color. Very, 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 very gently. I'm barely even touching the paper. I've mostly just got my hand on the paper at the bottom, and I can feel my hand kind of moving across the bottom part here in the heel of my hand. But I'm really barely just touching with the top. I just can tell by the sense of touch that the tip of the crayon is on the paper, and that's all I'm doing. I'm not pushing down at all. So build up some nice color. And for your design elements, if you're going to add polka dots like I did here, watercolor is great because it's quick, but a lot of kids don't want to touch it because it's messy. and it will sometimes leak into other areas, especially if your brush is super wet. And also, I did not get my marker wet this time. It's because I didn't want to have too much water on my paper. So when you're using the mixed media, you want to be careful with that. But with our design elements on the circles here and on our scarf, you don't want to have everything be a perfect circle. Show part of it, because that means that the other part of the circle is underneath the skin in here, underneath the band in there. Same thing with the stripes. They're going off of the page because it's like you're taking a picture. What you see doesn't end with taking a photograph. It's still there, and it still is bigger than the lens of the camera. So we want to do those things. We want to say, okay, well, I've got plenty of circles on it, but not every circle I see is a perfect whole circle. All right, so I'm going to keep blending in some colors, and I'll be right back. All right, here are our final drawings. You can see I added a bunch of colors together to get it a little bit more filled in, so that this one looks a little bit more like my skin color. I could even go a lot darker. And then this one, it has some brown and a little bit of red in there and some black to make it a little bit darker in color. And so I'm not saying that you can't use markers for your skin colors. If you want to go ahead and use those, that's fine. But when we are doing what we can with the materials that we have available, let's say that you just aren't happy with the colors that you have, and you say, you know what, I want to go ahead and make myself have purple skin or yellow just because you can. There's nothing wrong with that for the projects that we're doing at home if you don't have the art supplies available to get the effect that you are looking for. When we're building up color, it's not important that you have some big crayon set that has all of these colors. I just like to typically just use a regular crayon set of just 8 colors, just a regular 8 that come in a nice cheap crayon pack. And then colored pencils usually come in 12 because they give you a couple of extra things in here, like a light blue and a white. So those are nice, but basic colors can give you every shade in between. You just got to keep building those layers of color up gently. And to make sure your lines don't show, you can sort of go in a swirling fashion. Doesn't matter to me if your lines don't show. I'm just saying if it matters to you. So you can sort of go swirling around and slowly build your colors up. And I'm going straight over my marker lines. I could do that if they were also crayon. And I can go ahead and color all those in. If you're determined to paint it, you're going to want to have an area where you can test your colors out, an extra paper that you can just throw away. So, or if you're going to spread your marker with a water brush. So if you're going to use a brush with water to spread your marker, I could fill in my little areas here. A couple of things you need to consider first before you do that. You want to make sure that you're using thick paper, because anytime you're going to get regular thin notebook paper wet, it's going to want to tear. I love to do my pictures on cardstock or any kind of thick drawing paper just because I might want to get something wet. And you do not have to use watercolors for any of these projects that we're doing at home. If you need help, just let me know. Send me a message in chat or an email, and let me know what issues you're having, and I'll see if maybe there's some practice stuff that you can use to you can try those out so you can learn how to use your art materials the way you want. So I can't wait to see what you create. Maybe I'll see some interesting aliens, and can't wait to see what's in your background. Don't forget to color your entire picture and show me something about yourself. Make it about you. So can't wait to see those. Make sure that you turn them on in and upload them into Teams. Have a great day.